What's up guys, and welcome back once again to Diddy Reviews. Today I'm checking out a brand new keyboard. This one is from Monsgeek, courtesy of ACO. I assume maybe they're the same company, I'm not sure, but this is the Monsgeek M1 V3 mechanical keyboard, and this is a full aluminium keyboard with full aluminium case. So like I say, Monsgeek M1 V3. So we're going to basically unbox this, show you what it looks like, do a bit of sound test on the keys. I'll do a bit of a typing test and things like that, and we'll see basically how it performs, and I'll show you the RGB lighting as well, and let you know my thoughts on it. So, as I said, the Monsgeek M1 V3 mechanical keyboard. ACO were the ones that contacted me for this, so I assume they're the same company. And if you look on here, we've got the ACO V3 Pro Piano switches in here. So they are a linear switch. I'll put the information up on the screen as to the specs of those, and I'll link them in the description below for you to have a look at. Well, I'll link the board and it will tell you all about the keys, the switches that come with it. Other than that, there's not a lot to show you on the box. It just comes in this sort of sleeve. Unfortunately, free shipping, no fault of their own. It was packaged really nicely in a box, but the inside somehow got really beaten up. But I have checked it and it's absolutely fine. So let's unbox this and have a look. So it comes in the Monsgeek box underneath. You may have heard of these before. I had heard of these previously, but I've obviously never checked any of their stuff out. I've checked out ACO stuff before and it's been absolutely fantastic. So I've got high hopes for this. Comes with a little box of accessories. Let's first have a look what we get in here. So you actually get a coiled cable with this, which is really nice. It's just a sort of silicone thing. It's not braided, but it is a nice coiled cable and does look pretty smart, to be honest with you. So you get that with it. It is a wireless keyboard though, so you don't need that, but obviously that's for charging, and that will obviously look quite nice on your desk, and we'll go with it being black, we'll go with any setup. Other than that, we get a few extra key switches. Yeah, so a few extras there if you need them. And I'm sure there's something else in here. Yeah, it's all stuck down the bottom. We get some extra little gaskets. This is I believe a gasket mounted keyboard. You get some sort of little pads in there. I'm not sure what they're for in an Allen key, so if you want to strip it down and do some tinkering with it, you can do. You get a keycap puller, pretty much standard. You get some extra screws, don't know what they're for. And you get the wireless dongle. And then finally you also get some extra stabilizers and other bits and bobs there. Again, if you want to take this apart and do stuff with it, you've got some spares there if you need them. And you get a switch puller. This is a hot swappable keyboard, so you can change the switches out. As you've seen, obviously you get extra ones with it. So you get all the good stuff you need in there. So let's have a look at the keyboard itself. So this is the keyboard and it's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, it's complete solid aluminium. It weighs an absolute ton. I did put it on my kitchen scales, but they're not high enough. I think they only go up to like 1 kilo. But it did read quickly before it shut off and was like, no, I'm not having any more, at 1.8 kilos, but it's probably even heavier than that. If I can find the actual weight, I will put that on the screen or in the description below for you to have a look at. But this is the keyboard, and like I say, it's one chunk of aluminium all the way around. Nice, simple design, just black, all the way around. Absolutely stunning. It looks absolutely beautiful, and like I say, it weighs an absolute ton. A friend of mine has the GMMK Pro from Glorious, and this is sort of on par with that, I'd say, in terms of weight. So if you've felt one of those, you'll know how heavy this is. It is ridiculously heavy. You could seriously do some damage with this. And as you can see, the style one I've got is the one with the black and grey keys. It's a grey to black gradient from top to bottom. I think it looks absolutely lovely. You can get it in different colours. I think they do it in sort of like a creamy pinky colour. Again, these will be linked in the description below for you to have a look at, to take a look at and see which one you like. And as you can see on there, they are side printed for the keys. So you don't have any printing on the top, it just looks blank, but it's all side printed on there, and I really like that. But obviously, if you wanted to, you can change keycaps out. I believe ACO still like make their own keycaps as well, or you can put your own on. They are a standard Cherry MX profile, I believe. They at least look like it anyway. Yeah, and obviously, it's being a gaming keyboard, it's RGB backlit, and you will shine through these keys as well in there, and obviously you'll have shine through behind the keys as well. As well as that, we've got a little knob up in the corner here for skipping songs, changing volume, things like that. I'm not sure if it can be reprogrammed, but we'll have a look at the software in a bit and see how it goes. So that's basically the keyboard. There's not obviously much more to show you on there. It looks lovely, and like I say, feels premium. If weight's anything to go by, it's absolutely incredible. So let's do a quick sort of sound test. One thing I will say before we go any further is that there is no adjustability, unfortunately, so you can't elevate it. There's no feet on it to elevate, which is a little bit of a shame. So that's one little mark down, I'd say, in terms of this, but it is at a general standard height. If you get a wrist rest in there, it's at a nice height, to be honest with you. So let's get on with that sound test so you can have a listen to what it sounds like. Spoiler alert, I've tried it already and it sounds absolutely lovely. So here we go. So there's the sound test. Yeah, I really like the sound of this. Sounds absolutely lovely. It's a tiny bit of a clonk from the space, but other than that, it's a nice, subtle, quiet sound, really. So if you're typing on this, it's not going to be too loud. I really, really like that. Let me know what you think in the comment section below of the typing on this. So basically, we're going to get the PC fired up. We're going to show you the RGB on it, and then we're going to go from there and do a typing test. I'm not a very good typer anyway, but it'll give me an idea of how it feels to type on and things like that, and I'll be able to let you know my findings. I can't see it being an issue at all anyway. So let's get it fired up, get the RGB on, see if we can have a look at the software, and go from there. Right, so just a quick one before we get started. You get a little manual with it. You do need to have a look at it, really, because there's a few little things that I didn't expect. On this, it is mainly in Chinese with little bits of English dotted about, but it is self-explanatory because it gives you diagrams and sort of tables to follow, and the English bits are in there for you to follow. Your F1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 plus your function. It tells you the little symbols up here. I hope you might be able to see those. Is by the looks of Explorer, email, search, and then something else I'm not sure. And then you've got media control keys there for media, play, pause, forward and back, things like that. You've got, I'm not sure what that one is there. You've got insert, print screen, calculator, and then your volume controls down here as well. So you've got basically your function, and these will show you what will basically do different things. So it's good to keep this on hand. And then hopefully these are some of the RGB controls. Yeah, so we can control the RGB with the function key as well. And we can also control the functions here, which I'll show you in just a second. So you've got your FN key up and down, left and right, or sort of controls. Home page, up, page down, and end to change sort of some of the effects. We'll show you some of those in just a second. And then we go over here and we've got the wireless controls. So basically the switch for like sort of on off is under the caps key. So you have to remove that to change it between Mac, Windows, wired, or Windows wireless. And then you've got function keys to change between different wireless channels by the looks of it, and then between 2.4 gigahertz and the USB control there. So it's all relatively self-explanatory. I'll just show you that now. You've got the little switch under there next to the caps lock key, so you can change it in there, and then basically once you've done that, you don't really need to worry about it too much. And there we go, all back together. So I've just downloaded the software, so I'm going to have a quick look at that, and then I'll come back up and show you once I've got it sorted. Right, so we've got the software installed now, and here you can see this is the software here. So the first main page is for remapping controls, so you can select combinations, Control Alt Shift Windows key plus whatever you want down there. You can set macros here, you can set your media keys up, all different options down there. I'm not going to mess about with these too much. You've also got mouse settings here. I'm not sure if that's to make the keyboard do mouse stuff or what. I'm not entirely sure. And you've also got layers 1 to 4, so you can actually set different things on different layers, and obviously then switch between your layers and have it do different things. So you can have multiple sets of like macros and things like that, have them on different settings. And if you go to other settings, you've got key sensitivity here, so that will change the key sensitivity as it says. So I'm not sure quite how that works, because I believe this is just mechanical and not magnetic. And you've also got 2.4 gig light off, Bluetooth light off. So this is basically your power settings, so you can change it so it turns off after 2 minutes. Lights turn off on 2.4, lights turn off on Bluetooth. 2.4 gigahertz sleep, so it goes to sleep after 10 minutes. On Bluetooth, it goes to sleep after 15 minutes. You can mess around with all that as you will. Then you can go to FN settings, so you can change what the FN does. So obviously, like I say, you do get the manual here, but you can actually change this out a little bit and mess around with this. I'm going to leave it as standard, I'm not going to mess about, but you can change the function settings. I assume add more as well, so you can do other things with this to change. Again, it's sort of more of a macro kind of thing. Let's change that over. You've got a macro main macro page as well, so you can set your macros up in here and have them all saved and things like that. So I assume then when you've done that, you can go back and add your macros into here and put them on different layers. Again, I'm not going to mess about with macros. If you want macros, then it's there for you. It's like any other gaming keyboard, really. They always do macros generally in their software. So that's there if needed. And then we've got lighting. I'll come back to that in just a second. Let's have a look what else is on here. We've got share. I'm not sure what this does. This is so you can download different lighting patterns that other people have made. So if people have made a lighting pattern that you like, it tells you what device they made it on as well. And you can basically download one of those and add it to your keyboard. And there you go. You've got a preset one. There's loads of pages, 39 pages of these. So there's absolutely tons of them. So you can go through here, find what you like. Obviously, like I say, it depends on what device they were made on and whether they'll suit your keyboard. They should mainly work, but they might look a bit different if you're using a different keyboard compared to what they've set it up on. But that's options there. That's a nice little inclusion. I do like that. For some reason, it's saying I'm not connected, even though I am. It turned off because I left it for a bit. Yeah, you've got all your settings there. You can download those. You can even share your own. That's for lighting. You can share settings, and you can also share macros. So if you want to go through and someone's done a nice macro setting that you like, you can use that. They're not very well labeled in here, so I don't know how you know what they actually do. However, it's there if you need it. So if you've got a friend that's got the same keyboard or a similar keyboard, then you can share it between you. Then you've got an account if you want to create an account with them. I'm not going to do that. And then you've got an about section, so you can upgrade the firmware, check for updates, change your language, which is set to auto at the moment. You can start the software automatically on Windows startup. Close settings, so it tells you basically if you close this, will it just minimize or will it exit? And then you've also got an appearance. You can change the appearance of the app itself, which is nice. And then also you've got a battery indicator up here, so you can see what sort of level battery you're on. It doesn't give you a number, unfortunately, but it gives you an idea. And it says you're on 2.4 gigahertz down here. So let's go back to the lighting, and we'll see basically what it does. So I'll turn some of the lights off so it's easier for you to see, and we'll go from there. Right, so let's check out some of the RGB on here. I'll tell you what I'm doing on the software. There's no point showing the software at the same time. I'll just show you what we're doing, and I'll bring it a little bit closer so you can have a look. Now, it is quite a subtle RGB. It isn't the brightest. Let me just make sure I've got that up at its brightest. One thing, by the way, is this knob up here. It changes volume, but you click it in, and it will change brightness of your RGB. You can see that's off. You can click it up 1, and it even shows you on the software what it's doing as well. So you can go up to 4. That is the brightest we've got there. It isn't the brightest RGB I've ever seen, but it's quite a subtle lighting, and as you can see, it comes through the keys on the side as well. It is relatively bright in here still. Let me just close the curtains to give us a better look at it. Right, so I've got the curtains closed, lights off. Apologies if it's a bit grainy now. The only light we're getting now is from the monitor, but I'm hoping this will give you a better look at the RGB. There we go, you can see it a bit better there now. So I'll leave that up there, and then we'll go through some of the settings. We've got it as always on, which is just literally set to dazzle as well at the moment, so I assume that's literally means all the colours. There we go. You can turn dazzle off and it gives you just one colour, which obviously then you can change however you want. Gives you a massive spectrum of colours, literally gives you a colour palette. I'll just show you that now on the screen. Gives you a colour palette like that, so you can have pretty much any colour you want. The reds look a little bit orange on camera, but they are red, very red. So that's that. Turn dazzle back on, and then we get all the colours. So that's what the always on setting. We've got a breathe setting, which is standard. Again, just breathes in and out, breathes in and out. If you've got dazzle setting, it's basically breathes in and out of all the colours. Alternatively, obviously you can change the speed. You can see change the speed on that. That's just a standard breathing setting, which is a very normal one to have. We have a meteor setting. I've had this on a keyboard before and thought it was pretty cool, so let's have a look. So this is literally like randomized lines flying across, and again, depending on what colour you get, depends on what colour you set on here, depends on what colour you get going across there. I've got it set to just full RGB, dazzle mode. Ripple. Ripple looks like it does nothing, but you press a key and it basically ripples out from the key you press. That's one of my favourites personally. So there's that. Aurora, I'm not sure what this does, let's find out. That is all colours again, set to dazzle mode, and basically just flies them across, as you can see. Raindrop does what it says on the tin, drops from the top. Again, obviously you can change the colour on that. We'll just leave it on on all the colours for now. Converge, I think it means converge. Basically, as you can see, converges in the middle, spins around and pushes back out. That's quite a nice one. Steady stream. Yeah, does what it says on the tin. You can change the different settings of that. You can have it zigzag or you can have it return. And that obviously goes around the outside and returns to the middle. Got neon. This one is literally just colour switch by the look, so colour fade between the two. Wave. Waves down in RGB mode. You can have it go down or up. And again, you can set the colour as well. If you wanted to just do one colour, you can set that. Stars twinkle. It's like a Starry Night one, I assume, which I've had on other keyboards before. Yeah. Like shadows. So this one is basically like sort of heat map type thing. Whatever you press stays lit for a few seconds and then fades out. It goes like that. Sine wave. Sine wave like that basically across the keyboard. There's absolutely tons of these. I'll just flick through these and say what they are. Flowing spring. Laser. Peak turn. It's kind of a rainbow effect just spinning round. You can change the direction of that as well. There's absolutely tons of these. I'll go through them all anyway, and then obviously if you want to skip past them you can. Inclined rain. It's kind of a rainbow effect again. Nothing too major there. Light trace. Let's have a look at this one. Doesn't look like it's doing anything. That to me just looks like it's a steady light. I can't actually see it doing anything there. But anyway. Endless. Flowing out, as you can see. Use a picture. I assume you can put a picture on it somehow, I don't know. But that's literally just lighting up the WAS and D and the arrow keys. It's quite good for gaming mode. I don't know if that's changeable. It literally doesn't look changeable on here. There's music follow. So this will change compared to when you have music on. Obviously it's not doing anything because I've got no music on. I've got music follow too, and we've got light shadow. So that's all the features done on there. Let's put it back to a standard always on for now. I'm going to set mine to red. And there's the RGB done. So we've seen the RGB, you've seen the software. I'm just going to do a typing test now, and we'll see how we get on with that. Right, so we're just going to do a typing test on just this random typingtest.com, see how we get on, and I'll let you know how I feel from there. Right, apologies, I'm absolutely terrible at typing, so you would have seen me make so many mistakes. I'm under an average typist at only 31 words per minute. Absolutely awful, I know I am. That's not a reflection on the keyboard. It is taking a bit of getting used to from my old one. My old one is a little bit higher with having adjustable feet on it. Like I said, that is a bit of a downside of this keyboard, but it'd be nice. I suppose you could stick something under it or make something for it. But it is a little bit flat for my liking, which probably didn't help a little bit, but it is obviously down to user preference. A little bit unfortunate they haven't included anything to lift this up, but it's not, it might be a problem for you, it might not, I don't know. So my words per minute was 31, and I got 88% with 4 typos, so obviously not great. So let's go back up at the top and have a little talk about this, and I'll let you know my thoughts. M1V3 from Monsgeek / Akko, with their linear keys, linear switches in here, and obviously this lovely keycap set. And my thoughts on this are, in terms of product quality, obviously of being an absolute chunk of aluminium, it is milled out of one piece of aluminium by the looks of things, and it is one piece of aluminium basically. It is so heavy. In terms of quality, it's absolutely beautiful. It's absolutely fantastic. I can't say anything bad about the quality of it at all. And as you can hear, the typing sound on it is actually really nice as well. Obviously that's user preference, whether you like that or not, but I think it sounds absolutely lovely and will be a nice keyboard to type on. In terms of typing, as you saw, I didn't do very well. I don't do very well anyway on all the keyboards, even the one I use all the time. I don't do very well anyway, so it's not it's not saying anything bad about the keyboard, to be honest with you. It's more me. However, I will say that the one downside of this keyboard that basically lets it down a little bit is the fact that it's got no adjustable feet on it. It makes a bit of a shame, to be honest with you, because it does, although it is obviously, as you can see, elevated a little bit like that in terms of the profile of the keyboard, it does make it sit a little bit flat to what I'm used to, which is probably why I did really bad compared to what I have done before. But like I say, I'm not good anyway. So that might be a bit of a letdown for some people. Obviously, you can probably get a riser or something to stick under this to basically lift it up a little bit if that's what you prefer. I prefer my keyboard a little bit elevated. I normally have keyboards with adjustable feet elevated to the highest level they have, so it sits up a little bit. So obviously you be the judge of that, whether that's going to be basically a no-no for you, whether this is going to put you off this keyboard or not. Obviously that's entirely up to you and your preference. But in terms of the keyboard itself, the functions, the software is really good, really easy to use. The manual's not very good, which it's in Chinese, and there is obviously some little bits of English in there, so you can decipher it, but it's not the easiest to read. But you don't really need it. You can go on the software and it tells you what all the keys are doing on there and stuff like that, or you can get the manual online as well and have a look at it on there to get a better idea. But in terms of changing like RGB and stuff, you don't really need it. Setting up macros, you don't need the manual. That's about it really. So in terms of the keyboard itself, I can recommend it definitely, especially as it's one chunk of aluminium, and I love that. I love a good aluminium case on a keyboard. It's the first one I've had, I think, that's fully aluminium. No, sorry, I have a HyperX one, but that's a lot lighter than this. It's a lot smaller, thinner keyboard. But in terms of quality, absolutely fantastic. In terms of typing, not going to be a problem for everyone, but it's going to be a problem for some people in terms of the way it sits. But I will get used to it, and you probably will get used to it as well in the end of the day. And obviously, Keycaps, again, not going to be to everyone's taste, with them being on the side. Obviously, the colour of them, there is a few colour options available, but you can change them out whenever you want, or straight away if you want to, if you just want the keyboard itself. So that's it, guys. Really happy with the keyboard. The quality of it's beautiful. So thank you to Monsgeek Akko for sending this over to me. Really nice to see that. I can recommend it if you're after a top quality keyboard. Definitely recommend it, but obviously bear in mind the things I've said about it's sort of a couple of little shortfalls on the design of it. But that's it, really. So price of this, last time I looked, was about £140 here in the UK. So probably similar in euros and dollars. Not the cheapest keyboard for sure, but it is wireless, and it is, again, like I say, made out of a chunk of aluminium. So it is very competitive in price for things. You can pay £200 for a plastic keyboard. So in terms of that, it's very competitive, I'd say. And obviously, like I say, with it being wireless, I think like the GMAK Pro is a lot more than this. I think you're looking at like probably 180 to 200 for that, and that's not wireless. So there you go. That's the sort of thing it's up against. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Let me know any thoughts you have in the comments below, or anything you want to know about this keyboard, and I will let you get back to you as soon as I can. And thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Goodbye, and see you on the next video.